What's up, guys? This is David with Great Choice Audio Video. Hey, today is a day that we're going to talk about some cool lighting. All the lighting we're talking about today is RGB from Aispire. So there's all kinds of ways to control it, and I just want to show you some basic testing and kind of what's all involved and how this all gets put together. It is a little confusing. There's a lot more restrictions as far as the length, how long the actual strip should be, and then also how long the wire should be coming from the controller to the strip. So it's a little bit different talking about lighting strips when it's just static white light compared to RGB. So this is the purpose of this video, to show you guys kind of the differences and kind of what it takes to get an RGB light working. And then again, as far as controlling this light, you're using typically a third-party controller using DMX. So without further ado, let's talk about the strips. So again, these are all from Aispire. We have a 16-foot strip here just for testing, and I'll show you real closely, but there's all kinds of chips inside here, and then there's a little connection. So I believe every 4 inches you can cut the strip to the exact size. Now this is directional, so you probably can't see that from here, but I'll do a close-up shot. There is arrows as far as the direction of the path for power, so it is very specific as far as where you insert power on these strips. Again, these are our RGBW, so they're going to be pretty much any color you want, which is super cool. We have those in our theater room, and there's a lot of good places in the home you can do this. You can do it in media rooms, game rooms, kids' bedrooms, or anywhere you want to introduce color. So, I mean, there's some really cool ways you can implement this into different types of tracks to diffuse it. You could do flush mounted tracks in the sheetrock. You can do angled tracks, diffusers of sorts of half inch, 45-degree angled ones. There's all kinds of cool ways you could do light strips being diffused. So the way this works is, let's start off with, you have a power supply. This is a 96-watt power supply. This is 24-volt DC, and so we're powering a 3-channel controller. So 3 channels, so this is where it's different. 3 channels means I can do essentially three separate strips into one controller, as long as they fall within the guidelines of how long the strips are. Again, we're going to do 16 to 20-foot strips. This is just a 16-foot strip, and so the strips that we're using today, just to read a model number off to you, is the A2L90-16CCWT. So RGB W 2700 to 5000K. So again, the way this works is you got a power supply. So this power supply is typically going to be mounted somewhere close to the controller. It doesn't have to be, but you'll have a 2-conductor that will run 18.2, 16.2 from the controller to the power supply. So the controller comes with, depending on how many channels, there's a 10-channel controller and there's a 3-channel controller. This one here is a 3-channel controller, and I'll show you a close-up shot of this as well. This is the A2C10-3 for 3 channels. So on the top here, you'll see these little dials, and these are the DMX addresses. So essentially, we have digit 1, digit 2, digit 3. So we can assign each one a different address. So when you're going to control the lights, you can independently control them separately, which is super cool. So the way these are, because these are Aispire lighting, these are just a 3-conductor RGB. If you look at some of the other manufacturers, we came across 5-wire RGB. So you definitely need to pay close attention to which manufacturer you're using, and the guidelines on how far the controller, power supply, to the light, and how long the light can be. So there's some very strict guidelines in there to make sure it works 100%. So again, this is the wire for the Aispire, and it's got a cool little connector on it. You can see that or not, but this connector actually snaps right in. So that's what we have. You can see that or not. Right there, it snaps right into the end. And again, these can be cut anywhere every 4 inches. So you have this 3-wire, which we're using red, white, and black into the controller. So pretty simple. Power supply plugs into an outlet, 2 conductor that feeds each channel that you're using on the controller, and then out of the controller, which this is a 3-wire, to your strip. So pretty simple so far, right? So again, each of these will be a different address. Since I only have 1 strip, I'm just using 1 address, and I chose address number 100. Now, that number you need to keep track of, because when you go to program, you're gonna need to know what address you assign for each strip. So like in our theater room, for instance, we actually have 2 strips per vertical track, and we have 6 tracks, so 12 strips. So it can get quite confusing if you don't write it all down. So we have the power supply to the controller to the strip. Now, just for testing purposes only, we're going to use what's called a DMX cat. So the way the DMX cat works, we have this RJ45 cable coming out DMX. Now, once you get everything set the way you want it, obviously you would plug your control system into this through DMX. We use the abacus to control all the RGB lights through DMX. But anyway, so RJ45 back to this abacus, to the DMX cat. Abacus is on the brain. So this DMX cat, and we have this little adapter here going to the connection to the DMX, and it's a simple, there's an app on your phone for DMX cat, makes it nice and simple. You just pair it to your phone 1 time, plug it in right here for power, and it's simple. You just go to whatever channel address. So we started channel 100 as our first address. So we literally go into the app, scroll to 100, and start there, because that's where we're at on the addresses for that particular one that we're going to test. Now, because this is RGBW, we could do about any color. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's a million colors to do. I'm just going to do a couple just to show you you know, what it can do color-wise. So let's start off with navy blue. So navy blue has 3 numbers for channels 1, 2, and 3. So channel 1 is going to be 0, I'll leave that alone. Channel 2 is also 0, but channel 3 is 128. Look how it all of a sudden goes, and then when I change it to the right number, 128, boom. And there is blue, navy blue. And because there's so many shades of blues, you can vary those numbers, and there's a chart to get the exact color you're looking for. This is why RGBW is so cool compared to just static light, because you can do pretty much any color. So we're gonna turn that off. Let's go a different color. Let's go, how about yellow? So channel 1 is 255, channel 2 is 255, and channel 3 is 0. Boom, there's yellow. So pretty cool, you guys can see that. Again, I'll do hopefully close-up shots so you can see a little better. The lighting in here is not the best, but it is a warehouse. So there's yellow, we've done navy, turn those off, and then as you saw right there, we'll show it one more time, red. So red is channel 1 is 255, boom, all the way. Channel 2 is 0, channel 3 is 0, that's red. So just like that, we have red. Again, guys, any color, red, yellow, blue, green, it don't matter. So for those that like hot pink, let's do some hot pink. So channel 1 is 255, channel 2, 105. So you see it's starting to change. And channel 3, 180. Ooh, it's changing big time now. And there's 180. Boom, hot pink. So just some cool colors real quick, like, you know, to show you guys that we can do just about anything with this strip. That's what makes this strip so special. Why it's so different, why it costs more. I mean, because it can do way better job than your other typical RGB light. So I'm gonna turn that off, kind of distracting. But again, guys, just want to show you real quick how we can easily, you know, test the light, check the colors, and there's not really a whole lot in the connections department. Like I said, just a power supply, controller, and your strips. And so just making sure you have the right ones. But the biggest thing to remember is you have to know the numbers of how long the strip can be. Yeah, from the strip to the power supply. That is big. You can, and you got to make sure if it's a 3-wire or a 5-wire, because you're kind of out of luck if you run 3 and it's a 5. Now, if you have a 5 and it's 3, you know, obviously you just don't use 2 of the conductors. So, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the section down below. We got some really cool projects coming up with a bunch of this RGB type stuff. We have 2 theater rooms, 3 theater rooms actually to be exact. We have one with a bunch of kids rooms we did in RGB. We'll show you those as we move forward. But I just want to show you how it all works together. It's so cool. It's a little bit different than your box brand RGB kit, so there's a lot more things you can do with this. It's just more consistent, and then be able to control it with a control system. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until next time, see you.